Okay, so today we're here looking at the IPUMS website so that we can download some of the U.S. Census and American Community Survey data. So we're going to visit that site and we're going to create our own custom data set. So what we can do is first select the samples that we want. So for this example, we're only going to select the 2019 year. So we'll deselect all the other years and select this 2019. And we'll submit the sample selection. And now we will display the variables. So let's get some of these variables. So what we can do is actually, it'll show us what is in the 2019 data set. And anything that has a plus sign essentially can be added to the data. So we'll just go ahead and grab everything that we see with a plus sign in that first box. And again, we can select all of these, right? So we can spend a lot of time actually selecting all of these different variables, right? So we have the descriptions there. We can see what each of these variables are, which is always helpful. So this is a bit of a tedious process. What we can do in each of these is actually add all of them using this add all selection for each of these categories. So that helps us out quite a bit. And then there's nothing here, nothing here. You can see that because this column is completely empty. Okay, so we have some more variables we can add to our data set. Good to add all these demographic variables. And we're close to the bottom here. Again, you can select many less variables if you're wanting to do this for the classroom, but really to have kind of a large and wide data set, this would be a good way to do it. Okay, so we selected basically all the possible variables that we can possibly have. So there's 289 variables in our sample. So let's go to actually viewing our data, and how we do that, we select View Cart. Okay, so everything looks good. We'll create the data extract. Okay, we can select data quality flags. That's always helpful. It's easy. We can just click all variables and submit that. And this is the important thing. So we talk about selection, and we talk about in the filtering module, we talk about initial selection as part of a method or data move of filtering. So again, we can select different cases based on certain characteristics, and that actually acts as filtering. We're not going to do that here, but just wanted to point that out while we're going through this exercise. But what we really need to do here is customize the sample size. And we see that we need to do that because the full IPUMS sample is in thousands, and we see that there's 3,240. So that's actually 3.24 million cases. So if we want to download this, and we can do this in R, it's easy to do, and R can handle that many cases. But certainly when you try to export it to a CSV file, for example, we can only get to about a little over 1 million cases in the CSV file. So it'll be truncated, and you'll lose, 2/3 of your data set. So what we can do here is just change, we won't take the full sample. Let's take maybe 25,000 households. And if we do that, we recalculate that sample size. That gets us about 52,000 cases in the sample, which is much more reasonable to deal with. Okay, so we'll submit that. Okay, and we can submit our extract. So you do need to create an account to get the data set, but it's free and just takes about a minute. So once you have your account login information, you can sign in, and it will allow you to just make sure the sample size is saved, and they did. Okay. Then we can download our extract. And what's nice about this is you'll actually get an email when your data set is ready. So I'm going to pause while that's submitting, and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, so once that submits, you'll see this screen where you'll see that it's processing. You can see command files that you can work with this data set in SPSS, SAS, Stata, and R. And what we'll need to do is you need to download this DDI, and then there'll be different scripts that you could use these command files for these different softwares. There'll actually be in the platform a script that you can download, and we'll go over that, showing how to do this in R. Okay, so I got the email that the data extract is ready, so I'm going to refresh this page, and you can download the file right here. So that's great. So we're going to download that file, which we'll have to extract, and then we also need to download this DDI codebook. So what we can do is right-click on that and say Save Link As. And I'll save it as this USA.2.xml, so we'll save that in our downloads. Perfect, so now let's go check our downloads. So okay, so we see both of our files are there. So to extract this file, we just double click on it. So when we double click on this file, we see that we don't have a program installed that can open it. So we're going to need to install a program that will unzip that, and luckily you can get one for free in your Microsoft Store, File Viewer Plus. So we'll go through and install this software and then try it again. So now that that software installed, you can see it even changed the little icon for this type of file. So now if we double click it, it will open in File Viewer Plus, and we will be able to extract it. So it's already selected. We can hit Extract All, and we'll just extract it to our documents. That's fine. Okay, so we see it's in the documents. Perfect. And now what I can do is I'll also copy this XML file over to the documents as well. Okay, so now that they're in your documents folder, now we can run our R script. X that out, we don't need that anymore. And bring up R. Okay, so everything that you'll need is here. I've already installed these packages, so I won't install them again, but certainly I can make sure that they're active in the libraries and load them into our data set. And now I just need to change this file. This was USA002 in our documents folder, just to make sure that you see that there. I was playing around with the file before, so that's why USA0001 was there. But if we read this one in, you can see it's reading it in. And okay, took a minute. Now it's there. And then we'll get our ACS 2019 data. IPUMS always asks that you cite the use of their data appropriately. And you can always check out the conditions of how to do that using this IPUMS condition function. Okay, but that looks like it went through successfully. And you can spend a lot of time and look at the documentation for the ACS data. But really what we want to do now is, again, get this data file out of R and into a CSV that we can use in other programs. So this line of code right here will do that for you. So let's run that, and then we'll take a look at the data file it creates. Okay, so now that function is complete, and we can go to where RStudio saves your documents, which is typically in your documents folder, and we can take a look at this ACS data. So again, this would likely cause an error if you use the entire data set of 3.2 million cases. Still, even with 50,000 plus cases, this may still take a minute to load. Okay, so we can see our data set. Again, you can explore the coding on all these different variables and things in the documentation, but it looks like, at least from a quick eyeball glance, we have our 52,000 cases and all the data appears to be there. So that's it. I hope you found this helpful and have fun exploring the ACS 2019 data.